How we doing, Monkeys Fighting Robots Nation? Matt Sardo here, and I'm here to talk about Shazam! Shazam #2 hits your local comic book store today for DC Comics. And this book is everything I enjoy about comic books. Let me just soak in that cover. I love what happens now with the whites and what they can do with colors, and it just like it burns off the page, and that electricity, the lightning is all in there. And I love that, like, you have darkness. And then you have the gods, you got man versus myth. Like, it's old school comic book, man, right? That's an old school comic book right there. And then you got Dan Mora's art and Alejandro Sánchez on the colors. And I love his watercolor work. Like, it's not watercolor, but like it has that feel. He's using that Adobe filter thing to make it kind of have a watercolor feel to it, and I really like it. I really love, and I think it works really well when you can tell a comic book's been drawn. When you can tell it's been drawn, and you see some lines, you see some smudging, even if it's fake digital smudging, it just feels so much better for me. That the comic book is, I'm like, oh, somebody drew this, as opposed to it just being like so crisp and so clean, where there's like no error at all. The perfectionist art style, like I need some little things here to be like, oh yeah, this was a human that did this. Because I mean, you guys are just too good. You guys are too good. It's like that, like 100 frame, when you're watching a film and it's filmed in like ultra HD 120 frames or whatever it is, and you're like, this is just taking me out of the film because it's too crisp. Like, I need the human element in the art, and I think it makes me like it even more. It absorbs me into the story even more. That like this was crafted. This is art. And again, it's just a personal thing. I'm not saying that your perfectly clean art is not art. It's all art, but like this art works for me on a different level when it comes to comic books. Now let's talk about who worked on this book. Let's talk about the creative staff. This creative staff. So we got Mark Waid is the writer, and we got Dan Mora as the artist. Alejandro Sánchez has worked the colors, and Troy Petery is the letterist on this book. And I read issue 1 and then issue 2 together. I think that gives me a solid opinion on the book. And this is like hope and optimism. I don't know where we are in the world, but like it's a different DC universe going on right now. They have their giant Dawn of DC logo at the top. And like I read Titans, I read like Green Arrow, I read this now. Like, I'm really excited to read Green Lantern 1 and 2 together now, and just check out the other books, because like there's a theme of hope and optimism that is like really good. It's really good. And I'm not saying that like Billy Batson isn't in like a ton of shit right now, but it's a hero's, we're back to the hero's journey. I don't know what was lost, and I really don't care where we went and how we got here, whatever. All I know is that I'm really enjoying the titles that I'm reading from DC right now. Very simply, Billy Batson is in a ton. He's in the biggest, deepest, darkest hole, and he's got to climb his way out of it. He's got to figure it out, and it's going to be a fun ride. Like Mark sets up a really good story. Very unique. I don't know if this has happened before, but it makes sense. The glitchiness of the Shazam powers and what's going on, but I like it. It makes sense, and it's interesting, and there's all these different personalities conflicting, and it's gonna be a fun ride. And again, I'm trying not to spoil the book for you, but if you read 1 and 2, definitely comment below with what do you think of the book. Another aspect of Mark Waid's writing is its over-the-top superhero craziness, but then it's also like grounded. And that's part of the Shazam persona character, is you have this Superman-esque character, and then you have a kid who's living in a foster home of broken family. Like it goes from like super highs to lows of lows. But again, at the base level, there's that family element of Shazam where you're like, you're not alone, and even though he's trying to get along on his own, he's eventually gonna have to ask for help. He's gonna have to ask for help. But I kind of know the certain beats of this that are gonna happen, but also I'm enjoying it because it's a good story. My favorite page in the book, and I really wish I could like show it to you on the screen, but DC did not include it in the book or in the preview packet that I got. But it's the page is basically split in two. And there's a lot of craziness going on. And Billy Batson is just going crazy. He's like, I don't know what's going on. I got to do things. And he's super excited and super like worried and panicking and everything else on the top part of the panel. And then he turns into the captain. The captain. I don't know why they're not saying Captain Marvel. I don't know the legal things on these things, but but he can't say Shazam because like he'll turn out as Shazam. And they mentioned this in the first issue and it makes sense. So he's the captain now, the captain. And he hates being called the captain, which I think is pretty funny. So you have the top half of the page is Billy Batson going crazy, emotionally going, all over the place and wide-eyed and freaking out. And then he pulls into Shazam and he is like calmed down by the wisdom of Solomon. And he just does this thing. And you can still see in the eyes that it's Billy Batson in the wide-eyedness of the child inside still kind of freaking out. But like you still have this nice, calm, cool character going through and saving everybody. And I think the split page of the craziness to the calmness I thought was really good. And it's my favorite page in the book. And then also, this is where I noticed what Dan does really well. All of the eyes, people's eyes, the eyes, you can see them so well. And I'm flipping through the pages, looking at everybody's eyes, and like he uses the rule of thirds well to line up the eyes in the picture and stuff. And so like, let's see, my eyes right now, I have a nice like rule of third. I'm like right here is perfect where I'm split down the middle where you see where like my eyes are. And I'm like looking, I should be like looking this way at you. And then we'll have like a nice balance of me looking this way. But I'm flipping through this, like even the dinosaur in this, you can see the eyes, see where they're going. None of the eyes are like shorted. They're not just like little specks, or if there's little specks, like you can see where they're looking and it's more of just like, oh shit, like that's why they are. But every eye that is like, he's able to draw at a good size has a feeling and an emotion, and they have different emotions and they all just aren't blank stares. And it's amazing what he does. I'm going through all the different pages and like looking at all the different eyes, and like they all have, none of them are the same. I mean, Billy's eyes are the same throughout the thing, but like his emotions are always different. And like, I wonder if Dan just has like a list of eye emotions on the side. He's like, okay, this is what I want to draw for this and this and this. And like, because not all the characters are angry. Not all of them are sad. Not all of them are angry. So, or excited or scared or happy. Like, so he can just kind of go through and do the spectrum of them and everything. And it's so good. I don't know why I cover my mouth on to talking to a mic, but I'm like, I got giddy. But definitely look at all the panels and look at the eyes of the character. And like, this is me looking at it post reading it. And I was like, man, what is making me get so absorbed in this book? And it's the fact that I can see into the souls of every character, because how Dan draws the eyes of the characters. And I'm like, and how he has them placed in panels where I'm like, my eye is connecting with each one of these characters because I can see everything, and I can see and I can feel different emotions coming from these, and then it radiates to the rest. I'm just going to break my whole entire studio. So you got the eyes, that's got the emotion going on. and then it just radiates to the rest of the body of the character. And then, whether it's Billy shrugging or this or that, like everything matches up well. You have the excitement on a girl's face, and then you see the excitement of the body. Like it all starts with the eyes, and kind of, and I'm trying to get around all these chords. I'm like, I need to put the Hulk gloves and just smash everything sometimes. But it's done so well. You really can't appreciate it unless you like see it and then just like slowly go through every page and look, oh, this panel's lined up perfectly. This panel's lined up perfectly. And their eyes are lined up perfectly. And like, because eyes are really hard to draw. I mean, because they're equal, but they're not equal. And like, it's just, and when you draw one eye off, like you can really tell when things are off. Like it takes a very amazing skill of an artist to like draw eyes really well. Because you see a lot of people kind of cheat on them sometimes, but man, you got the Mona Lisa in there, so we got those eyes. But man, there are so many good pages in here. I got some security guards, and all I see are the whites of their eyes, and they're just like, what? I mean, like, it's just everything. It's not every character that has some importance in the story. I don't even think I think most 99% of the characters have, like, you can see the pupils and you can see the emotion on their faces, because like this is an emotional book. Issue 2 is emotional. Like the shit's hitting the fan, and like the hole's getting deeper for Captain. And that's the thing, I don't even think we're at the deepest level of the hole yet. And that's what's exciting. Like it's going to be 3 or 4 issues of like falling into the abyss. And then the captain has to crawl back out of that hole. And it's going to be so much fun. Like oh man, I'm getting the goosies. I'm getting excited. And I'm like, yay, comic books. And that's where I should be with this. So grab yourself Shazam 1 and 2, read it. Let me know what you think of it. I think it's awesome.